Hello and welcome to my video. It has been specifically created for the parents of children with autism and is created to help you understand the possible causes of your child's distress and anxiety, and therefore today we're going to be talking about minimising behavioural distress for children with autism. My name is Richard Bayliss. I'm a student learning disability nurse at the University of Northampton. We may take this for granted, but we are in control of our lives and to a certain extent are able to exercise choice to ensure our comfort and security. We can negotiate with our social world and find our niche. People with autism do not tend to have such power of negotiation and self-determination. They are to a great extent dependent on the goodwill and judgment of others. Using behaviour to comment on one's circumstances can of course lead to a reduction of those circumstances. People with autism need help to negotiate for favourable circumstances and the opportunity for contentment. They need help with making their environment suitable for their special needs. From the point of view of someone with autism, people are not always predictable. They move around with a will of their own. They look different from day to day. They make noises, some familiar, some not. They are sometimes animated with their mouth turned up at the corners and sometimes quiet, with their mouths turned down. They might be waving their arms around and make you very scared. Sometimes they'll let you go and play in the park. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can get in the car. Sometimes you're not allowed in the car. It makes life very, very confusing. Your child will, at times, have difficulty with anticipating the behaviour of others, being unable to use what is known as the theory of mind, that being the ability to imagine how others think and feel. They will also tend to lack the ability to plan ahead, to anticipate, to organise a series of actions to achieve a desired outcome. They depend on others to make desirable things happen and to preserve the familiar. This inability to understand the world they live in, and in particular the social world, goes some way to explaining their love for the familiar. And as you may well have already experienced, order and routine. So, what can you do to minimise stress and anxiety for your child? First, let's look at physical environment. Privacy and personal space are important, but this must be balanced by adequate supervision of your child, who will probably be unaware of common dangers. You may also want to consider the amount of clutter, toys and games there are in your child's bedroom. These can be the cause of quite a lot of stress and anxiety in children, and as you can see in this picture, in the after picture, it's much more tidy and much more autism friendly. Your child should be introduced to a daily program which must be structured and organised, and it should be readily available and presented pictorially for those who cannot read. Changes to the schedule should also be planned in advance and carefully explained with reassurance. Sudden changes of plan should always be avoided. The significance and importance of repetitive behaviours should be recognised, but effective strategies must be devised for limiting them, and of course addressing the harmful ones. The harmful ones are often an outward expression of internal anxiety. Naturally, you want to find the root cause of these anxieties at the earliest possible time. Often the most important environmental factor is the human one, and you as the parent will have the most significant environmental impact upon your child. And you should always bear in mind that your behaviour is crucial to the well-being of your little boy or girl who has autism. Children with autism have very great difficulty in understanding the behaviour, speech and body language of other people. They are often completely unaware of how their own behaviour patterns affect others. It is therefore left to you as the parent to identify these causes of distress and anxiety, or what they're known as is triggers, and to be able to deal with them before they cause any more distress to your child. Ideally, your body language should be non-threatening, and you should try not to get too close. Remember that people with autism have great difficulty using and understanding gestures, eye contact and facial expressions. It's important to give out a resolute and confident impression which will inspire the confidence of your child. Now let's talk about demeanour. It's important to be polite but also firm and consistent. Avoid letting your personal feelings affect your behaviour towards your child, and try to maintain the same approach at every interaction. It's also important to avoid behaving in a playful or irreverent manner, or allowing strong emotions to colour your behaviour. Pace yourself to be steady. Maintain a take-it-as-it-comes matter-of-fact demeanour while consistently reinforcing the message you're trying to get across. Now for your voice. Develop a calm voice, even and without dramatic intonation, confident with a tone that is persistent but does not betray irritation or does not try to rush your child. Ensure that your voice demonstrates patience, tolerance and acceptance while showing conviction. Words. Use as few words as possible. Avoid long, chatty sentences. Get to the point as quickly as possible using keywords that your child can relate to. People with autism tend not to appreciate the pleasures of social intercourse and quickly become confused in conversation. Speak in what is known as future conditional. For example, when you have finished doing something, then we can start doing something else. This is known as the when and then strategy. And then we move on to acceptance. Always aim to show respect for your child and their needs, wishes and choices. It is not their choice to be isolated from pleasurable and rewarding social interaction with the people around them. For most people, the thought of social exclusion or isolation is so abhorrent that they will put pressure on people with autism to engage with others and to join in activities. This can have an extremely detrimental effect. Great sensitivity has to be exercised in encouraging them to join in what they might enjoy, while at the same time recognising those activities they do not. They do not learn social behaviour merely from exposure to a sociable peer group. So, to summarise, anticipate the needs of your child. Try to see what's causing them distress. Try to understand what their needs are and what their desires are. Physical environment. Remove the clutter, especially in the area that they want to consider their own. In the family home, this will probably be their bedroom. Daily program. Use pictures. They will make far more sense to your child, and avoid changes if at all possible. Try to establish the cause of stress and anxieties for your child, and if at all possible, find a solution. Body language. It should be non-threatening, controlled and confident. Your voice should be non-emotional, also confident and controlled. When talking to your child, the words you use should be kept to a minimum, and you should come to your point as soon as possible. Social situations. You can suggest or perhaps persuade and assess whether your child wants to go to a social situation, but do not force them. It will be a cause of great anxiety. Finally, I'd just like to say thank you for your time and thank you for watching the video. I hope you'll find it useful.